welcome to my channel Cake. I'm your hostess Suzanne. Today we're going to be making this toilet paper roll cake. We're keeping it safe. If you'd like to know how I made it and how you can make it too, just keep watching. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the world's obsession right now, and it is toilet paper. Who would have thought? I am here today to brighten your day, hopefully, and have some fun with this. We're gonna make a toilet paper cake under lock and key. I have 2 layers, 6 inches of my white cake, and I will leave that video for this recipe, you guys. It's super simple and it's really good. Anybody can make this recipe. I hope you guys give it a try. Again, I'll leave that link down in the description box below for you guys. First of all, we're gonna go ahead and level off this top of this cake. Next, we're going to fill this cake. I've made a batch of my American buttercream. You guys, again, this recipe is super easy and quick. I will leave that video as well down in the description box below. I hope you guys check that one out as well. Okay, let's go ahead and start off by filling our toilet paper cake. I have a turntable here and a nonstick pad, which is just shelving unit liner cut into a circle. Super easy, nothing fancy. I have a 6-inch cake board here. We're going to set that here in the middle of our turntable. We are going to apply just a little bit of frosting on the center of our cake board. That just helps the cake from moving around on the cake board. It acts like a glue. Let's go ahead and center our first layer of our cake onto this cake board. Okay, now that we have it centered onto the cake board, push it down a little bit, make sure it's secure to that board. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of buttercream for the filling. Swish it back and forth onto itself. When you're dealing with your filling and your crumb coat part of the frosting, you want to make sure you wipe your offset spatula onto a separate bowl. As this frosting now has crumbs in it, we don't want to contaminate our original frosting. Okay, let's go ahead and add our top layer. And we turn our cakes upside down because the bottom is flatter than the top. Put it on there, a little squish, squish, jiggle, jiggle. Just like that. I'm going to clean off the edges and stick it in the freezer for about 15 minutes so it gets nice and firm so I can do the crumb coat. See you guys in a second. I just took our toilet paper cake out of the freezer. It was in there for 15 minutes. Let's give this toilet paper cake a crumb coat. A crumb coat is just a thin layer of frosting to seal in those crumbs so when we do our final coat, we won't have any crumbs poking through. Okay, our crumb coat is complete. I'm going to stick it in the freezer for about 10 minutes just to let it firm up so we can do a really thin final coat before we put on our fondant for our toilet paper cake. Yay! See you guys in a second. Our toilet paper cake was in the freezer for 10 minutes. I'm going to put a really thin layer of our final coat of frosting on as we're going to put fondant on it next, and I don't want a lot of squishiness going on there, so just a thin coat. Okay, I think I have it covered in its final coat. Let's go ahead and make it nice and crisp and clean by using our bench scraper to go around the cake to wipe off that excess frosting. I just like to keep my bench scraper barely resting on the turntable and pushing it against the cake board. That way I ensure I have the same amount of frosting all the way around the cake. I went ahead and rinsed off my bench scraper with some hot water. The hot water on this metal will help melt this buttercream just a little bit to get the nice smooth sides. The sides don't look too bad. Let's go ahead and clean off this lip. When you do the top first and then do the sides, it creates a little bit of a lip, and that's not a big deal. We could just clean it off with our offset spatula. Before we stick this cake in the refrigerator, let's adhere it to a cake drum. I have an 8-inch cake drum here. We'll just apply a little bit of frosting that helps the cake stick to this cake drum. So we're gonna put a little bit of frosting to act as the glue. And I want to put this a little bit back onto this cake board, not in the center, as we have to have a little bit of room for the torn off toilet paper part. I'm sticking this in the refrigerator, not the freezer this time, as a fondant does not like to be applied to a frozen cake. So we're gonna stick it in the refrigerator and then we're gonna roll out the fondant for our toilet paper cake. You guys, we're almost there. Stick with me, don't go anywhere. You're stuck in your house anyway, so just stick with me, okay? We're having fun, okay? At least I think we are. See you guys in a second. Our toilet paper cake is in the refrigerator chilling out while we get the fondant ready. I made these yesterday. I will put how I made these at the end of this video, you guys. This I did yesterday. You want to give this some time to firm up before you put it on the cake and before you paint it. So this has been chilling here for probably 20 hours. So it's ready to rock and roll when I'm ready to rock and roll. So we'll set this to the side and get the fondant rolled out for the cake. I'm using Wilton's Preferred Fondant. You can use any fondant you would like. It's just the most readily available for me at my local Walmart. So that's what I use. I'm just getting this nice and loosey, massaging it, getting it nice and pliable. It doesn't take much. I'm gonna put a little bit of powdered sugar on my prep table. That just helps the fondant from sticking to it. And on my rolling pin as well. I like to roll it in a ball. You guys, home baker, no training, just love doing it, love sharing what I know so far and learn as I go. And this is how I do it. There might be a professional way to do it, but I find this works, so I keep with it. So I make it to a little hamburger patty here, give it a little head start, put a little powdered sugar here on my rolling pin. And we're just gonna start with the top of the cake first, just a little round disc. That looks really good. I'm going to use a 6-inch cake board as my guide, as that should be about the same size as the top of the cake. And I'm going to keep my X-Acto knife, or if you just have a knife, straight. You don't want to angle it either way, as you want your edges of this fondant nice and crisp and level, nice and vertical. Okay, let's go ahead and apply our piece of fondant to the top of our toilet paper roll here. I'm just going to use a pastry brush just to apply just a little bit of water. That helps the fondant stick to the top of the buttercream. Let's go ahead and get our top part. Let's go ahead and make sure this fondant is sticking onto this cake. And we're going to go ahead and push it out just a little bit, as the piece of fondant is slightly smaller than the cake. Okay, let's get rolling with the side piece of our toilet paper cake. My cake measures about 3 3/4 inches tall. So that will be the width of it. Well, for me, it's the width. As I'm cutting it, I'm gonna roll this way. Cut off a straight edge there. Just start with a straight line on one side. Just line up your ruler flat with the edge of your fondant to ensure you're going straight. Keep your X-Acto knife or knife along the edge of the ruler. Move your ruler down, line it up with the prior cut. Let's mark 3 3/4 along this side. That way I will have a guide for my ruler. Okay, I have my marks. Let's go ahead and line up our marks with our ruler. I'm lining up the edge of my fondant here with a line on my quilter's ruler and going across like that. Okay, let's go ahead and dampen the sides of our toilet paper cake so the fondant will stick. Just using a little pastry brush like I did for the top part. You want to go ahead and roll up your toilet paper roll from both sides so you can transport it to the cake. This will help ensure it doesn't get misshapen, like that. Gently set it on the cake board, pushing it onto the cake. As you go around, unroll the log of fondant. I want the opening to be at the front, so that's why I started at the front. I'm just applying a little bit of pressure here so that will stick to the cake. There we go. Adding a little bit of water to this edge here so this other part of the fondant will stick to it. Put a little bit of paper towel behind this edge so it keeps it out just a little bit more. Then flopping straight down. There's a little bit of a lip here that I don't like, so I'm taking a small paring knife and just gradually taking off this little lip here, making sure not to tip my knife into my cake and not push it up either. We want a nice flat edge. And just taking my time. I've dyed a little bit of my fondant black. I just need to make a little round circle for the center of our roll of toilet paper that will emulate the inside of the toilet paper roll. I don't need a lot, so I'm just gonna roll out a little spot like that. So we're gonna go ahead and do the 1 3/4. I am modeling this after the Costco brand toilet paper. Just gonna take this cutter here, make a round circle, like that. Just dip my finger in a little bit of water. Just a tad there in the center. Next we're gonna make the defined layers. It's not gonna be super defined. Just a rough definition is all. I have probably 2 drops of water in this little dish. I just want a tiny bit of black gel food coloring in there. Okay, right now it's just a normal toilet paper roll, which millions of people would love to have right now. And we're gonna put it under lock and key. Next, we're gonna put the chain and lock on our toilet paper roll. I made them last night. I will add that footage at the end of this video, so you guys will be able to see how I made that. You'll want to make your chain and your lock the night before or the day before. Give it some time to dry. The moment of truth is here. Will this transfer over there without breaking? Keep your fingers crossed. You guys remember, just a home baker, no training, so. It worked better than I thought it was going to. Split a toothpick in half while it was still soft and shoved them in the back of there so I can shove this in the cake. I have some dab and hold. I just put a little dot here in this dish. I'm going to use it. It's an edible glue. Water would work as well, but I think I want just a little extra protection with this lock. We're going to take a little food grade brush here, bottom of our lock. I love it. I'm gonna let this sit for probably an hour just to make sure it is totally secure before we paint this lock and chain. Okay, it is time to paint our lock and our chain. I have some Imperial Silver here. It is not edible, so I will let whoever gets this cake know not to eat the chain or the lock. I have mixed it in this little bowl with some vodka. You can use lemon extract as well. Let's go ahead and paint our chain and our lock. I'm taking this virus thing really seriously, you guys. I am staying home, working from home, only go out when I have to. This cake is not mocking the virus, it's just hope it brings a smile to everyone's face. I hope you guys are keeping safe and keeping sane. And thank you so much for watching this video, you guys. It really does mean the world to me. If you are a returning subscriber coming back to watch another one of my videos, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're new to my channel and haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so. It's quick and it's easy, but most importantly, it's totally free. If you like this super cool cake, please give me a big thumbs up. If you're so inclined, please share this video with your friends and family. That helps me as well. I'm having an amazing day. I hope you are as well. Until next time, make it a great day. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with our chain and our lock for our toilet paper cake. I am so excited to make this video for you guys today. I just have a handful of Wilton's Preferred fondant. I'm going to use a little bit of hardener on this fondant so it gets harder quicker. The brand name that is used the most is Tylos. I don't use that. I have this off-brand here that I found works just as well. I just sprinkle a little bit on there, like that, and you just roll it in together. Make sure it gets all incorporated throughout the fondant. Just gotta work this in. I have a clay extruder here that I'm going to use today. You don't have to have one of these to do this chain. Just makes it a lot easier. You could just roll out your fondant to really small, thin ropes and do it that way. I've applied a little bit of shortening on the inside of my clay extruder. That just helps the fondant come out easier. And I also applied some on the inside of the cap as well. Take a little bit, roll it up so it fits inside the clay extruder. And there we go. Now we're ready to rock and roll. Keep your hand close to the table so the fondant doesn't stretch out as you're squeezing it out. Might misshapen the fondant. You don't have to have one of these. I just have it, so I'm going to use it. I just want all of my chain links to be the same size. You can use a ruler and measure it out to do it that way. Since I have this, I'm just going to go ahead and use it. Let's go ahead and pick up one of our pieces. Go ahead and dampen the end of it. Put the ends together like that. Go ahead and get the next one. We want to chain these together. There's our first couple links together. I'm going to continue making these links and I'll be right back. I am finished with the chain. It took me a lot longer than I anticipated. The ends kept on coming apart, so I had to repair. So hopefully if we don't touch this or move this, it will dry in place, and that's what we're looking for. Then we'll transfer it over onto our toilet paper cake. I have a little bit of fondant here. I'm going to go ahead and add some of the hardening powder on that as well to make the lock. We're making a simple lock. Just kind of a rectangle shape, a little rounded. I'm going to go ahead and let these firm up a little bit.